Well, how do you go about, like, if someone wants to commission a painting, how do you go about that?
Well, first of all, they've got to talk to me about what it is they want. Usually what happens is they see something that's been sold and they want something similar. So, because I don't really like doing things twice, I try not to do that. So what I say is, look, let's have a talk about what it is you want, and see if I can come up with something else that's got the same sort of characteristics without it being the same landscape or whatever. So
because people might say, oh, I want a painting of a tree, and they sort of have something in your mind, but what you're really saying to them, oh, I hear you, but let me be the artist. Is that?
No, that's right. I mean, you don't want to look at a landscape, a riverscape or something like that and say, oh, that's really lovely, could you do something like that for me? Well, I mean, yeah, but what do you mean? I mean, I could do a tree and a river and similar colours, but I'll rearrange the whole thing, so it's not the same place. So, they get something that they're happy with. I'll give them some idea of what it's going to look like. Usually I'll take photographs, compositions, things like that. And if they're happy with that, well then I say, right, the rest just leave to me. If you don't like it, you don't have to take it. But you've got to pay half the money, and if you don't like it, the money stays there and I'll do another one till you get what you want. But I've never had anyone knock me back so far. I guess it's always the first time.
Do you feel like you kind of get to know the person a little bit, and so you're pretty sure you're on the money then?
Yeah, you do. That's the reason why you've got to sort of build a bit of a rapport, and there's a bit of to and fro, and during the actual painting I actually send progress reports. Usually I do that on the internet. Like,
so you send them a photo?
Something like that. Progress where I'm at that particular point in time. If they want to make comments or suggest something, I'll take that on board. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll do it, but no, I'll take it on board. Yeah.
Well, you're kind of hearing what they're saying, but that doesn't translate to that. So you're going to paint that little bit brown or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, they don't need me to do it. They do it themselves.
That's right. Get a paint by numbers then.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Well, this one's just beautiful. You can see where some lucky person's going to have that in their home. That's for sure. So if someone was interested, say, in commissioning something from you, how would you suggest they specifically go about it?
Well, first thing to do is contact me.
Yeah, so through the website would be...
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Contact me through the website, email me. Well, they can ring me up. That's less formal. In fact, it's probably better because talking to somebody, even if it's not face-to-face, but talking to somebody is probably better than trying to correspond via emails. But the initial approach can be via email. That's fine. Or if they want to come and see me, they can do that. Ring me first and make sure I'm going to be here, because I'm often coming and going, as you know.
Yeah. I've noticed a couple of your commissions though have been from people who can't come and see you, so they do just contact you.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've done, like for people overseas, they're basically willing to let me come up with something. And often with things like that, they don't really have something in mind. They just want a Garry Duncan, and they're happy to leave me to do it. But there are ones where people want something specific, like this one here. It's got to match up with another one that's already done for this client.
Right, so there's going to be two like this. Beautiful. That'll be spectacular.
Yeah, it will be. It will look fantastic, actually.
But like a panorama.
Yeah, it's like a panorama.
How long would it? What do you expect? Obviously the size and accuracy, but so it's not going to be someone orders it tomorrow and then they get it next week. It's not a
that's right.
A paint factory.
Spot on. No, all this stuff you got to think it through, and it takes time. You can't just I can. I mean, often I'll just do something from beginning to end, but a lot of stuff needs to be considered, particularly in a situation like with this one. I've got to consider everything, like even though they don't join up, they sort of run one on from the other, and I've got to consider the composition in terms of water level, the way the trees come together, the way the land pulls together, the colours, the techniques, all that sort of stuff.
And the light.
Yeah, absolutely. The sky, the whole lot. It's extremely important. If I get that wrong, it's going to look totally out of context. So, that's things need to be considered. And with the best work I do is the stuff I've had time to consider. Not only the composition, but also the technique, the way I go about it. I don't always paint the one way. This is one type of painting, but I paint all sorts of different techniques.
It always amazes me just the breadth of what you do, because for a lot of people you're known for these kind of river scenes, but for other people you're known for the really dynamic cityscapes, and then others for a really almost conceptual, abstract kind of thing as well. So it's really anyone who's looking to have a commission of any kind of particular style. That's not, it's everything's not going to always look like this unless that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse, and there's so many ways to look at things. And I guess that's good because I don't get bored with it then. If I had to do the same damn thing over and over again, I wouldn't do it.
No, and everything, I was impressed by how you just do it. Sometimes it's the moment. You get your own flash of inspiration from that moment and you can see what needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I need to be allowed to be able to do that. Because that's what gives the work its edge. That's what makes it special. Rather than just production like I said before.
It's interesting that you get these commissions. Why do you think people are commissioning things so much now, and rather than just going into an art gallery or something? Well,
I guess I've been around so bloody long now. People start to, most of the people interested in starting to get to know who I am, what I do, and not only that, I haven't exhibited in galleries for really quite a few years. And over the last, I spent a transition, I guess, over the last 10, 15, 20 years that I've been doing more and more commission stuff rather than doing exhibitions. And that's because basically I don't exhibit in galleries anymore. The
thing that interests me is that it's very difficult to purchase your work anyway, even if you can find one in a gallery.
Sure.
People aren't selling them. It's not like the wholesale, when they're going to the art auctions and there's all sorts of paintings available. People seem to hold on to the paintings.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, there's very little comes back up for sale. Also, I'm only one person. I can only do a certain amount of work. It's finite the amount of work I can do in my lifetime. Most of the stuff that I do has fairly strong messages. It doesn't only just record the time and the place we live in, but it's also about issues. So I guess for that reason, it's usually quite personal, especially when I'm doing something for somebody. So it's not the sort of thing you're going to have turning up in auctions.
Yeah.
You're right. So yeah, it is a fairly rare commodity.
It's more really about that relationship you like to have with the person who's buying too, don't you? Because you really are trying to do a painting for a reason.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It's just, I'm not a production line, and I'm not in the game of doing. I mean, I do reproductions and stuff like that, but as an artist, every work is spectacularly different. Nothing's the same, and I guess the clientele I have appreciates that and seeks that out. Yeah, it's interesting too, because really, in some ways, if you do commission a painting, everybody gets what they want. Rather than just some kind of cold purchase, where you don't have any kind of input into it as the customer. So. Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, you can go, you can spend years, I guess, looking for something specific. If you're after something specific, normally what happens is people look at something and think, oh, that's fantastic, and they're just totally overawed, and they say, that's what I want. Unfortunately, often that's sold then, isn't it? We found that with the Tasmanian paintings, isn't it? It's usually the case. Popular things everybody seems to want, and that's why they're popular. Yeah. So, but usually there's something about the work that's inspired the client to want that kind of thing. So then he'll come and talk to me. Yeah. He or she will come and talk to me. It's interesting too, because a lot of the commissions I do are commissioned by women rather than men. Which is really interesting. Well, it's going to be a very lucky person who gets this one, that's for sure. Yeah, well, I hope you appreciate it. I'm not charging them enough. Well, it'll be really interesting to see what the next commission comes up with. Yeah, I'll let you know, mate, and I'll get you up here and do another interview. Okay. No worries. All right. Go on.